The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Film Jitsu, the podcast that wields films like deadly weapons. We are your hosts. I am Mike.
And I am Jay.
On this week's episode of Film Jitsu, Jason's going to spend a little bit of time reporting back to us about the man who killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. We're also going to do our bottom 5 microgenres, play a little Dueling Double Bill, and then Jason will reveal what film I have to watch for our upcoming episode. But before all that, let's go ahead and roll the trailer for, deep breath, The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
Such a long title.
I know.
I got old just as you were saying it.
My grandfather used to tell me stories all about this one soldier. As he got older, the stories got stranger. Some I believed, others I don't know. But it wasn't describing a man.
Wallet, keys.
It was more like something mythic, legendary. You didn't pull any swords from any stones, did you? But you might have done something. Something bigger, maybe.
So how have you been? You look a little tired. What's bothering you?
Things I could have done differently. Regrets. I shot someone during the war. I never wanted that, even if he had it coming. And he did.
You've heard about the killings up north?
What's the FBI have to do with it?
Imagine all our worst fears about influenza, inhumans, bovine, swine, all of it coming true to life, only worse.
It's the Bigfoot, Ed. Kill him and kill it. It's the carrier of this plague type thing.
Well, that's no good.
Jason, Robert D. Krzyzewski's The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot sounds like the kind of high concept silliness that would be right at home with something like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter or a Sharknado. It sounds like somebody gave Roger Corman $10,000 and an Uwe Boll script and just let him loose.
Yeah.
But this ain't that.
No.
The title of this film aggressively invites you to misjudge the movie. It wants to put you in the headspace of grindhouse schlock and then subvert those expectations with nearly every frame of the film. Because instead, we get a melancholy character study from Sam Elliott, one of the best speak softly and carry a big stick actors that Hollywood has ever given us. So my question is this. Does this wildly pulpy title help or hurt your experience of the film? Were you let down because you didn't get the exploitation fest that the title promises? Or did the subversion to a film about the emotional cost of heroism leave you with a lot more to think about than the title suggests?
Yeah, I was disappointed because when you have a title so, I think you just said it was aggressively
misleading. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely is what it does. And I don't think it's to the film's benefit in any way. I think that centering the film on Sam Elliott was brilliant. I think that's a great idea. It's not surprising at all that he's phenomenal in this film. And at this point in his career, he's not just an actor. He's like a whole presence. He's got that voice and that face and the sense of lived in history. And he gives the film a gravity it really doesn't earn. Right? You believe he's lived this life and you believe he's carrying something incredibly heavy, or at least walking a little bit funny because there's something in his shoe. The problem is the film splits the character, at least for the first half, between Sam Elliott and a younger version of his character played by Aidan Turner. And that transition didn't work for me. And that might be a personal sticking point because when the younger and older versions don't feel like the same person, it breaks the illusion.
Sure.
So instead of one continuous life, you get two performances that, for me, don't connect. And it pulled me right out of the film in a way that's hard for me to recover from. So I had this same issue, as you know, with the movie that everyone loves, Rian Johnson's Looper.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still not able to accept Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a young Bruce Willis. Sorry.
Sure. Okay.
I guess that bit with the two actors and the disconnect between the title and this overall feel of this film speaks to the larger issue, is that this film never quite finds its footing tonally.
Mm-hmm.
The Hitler storyline is handled in this strangely like matter-of-fact way. And there's this attempt at mystery. Who is the lead character? What is he doing? But it moves way too quickly and without enough tension. So when the reveal happens with him getting into the room with Hitler, it doesn't land with nearly the weight that one would expect. It just sort of happens.
And again, as we keep hanging so much of the responsibility for the outcome of this movie on the title, if the title of the movie is The Man Who Killed Hitler,
yes,
we kind of know going in exactly what's going to happen. Like, did that suck some of the tension right out? Because you know that we're going to start with killing Hitler. We got to get there first before we get anywhere else.
Yeah, and I think it does steal a little bit of the thunder from the event. There's a sense of, sometimes when you tell an audience something up front about what you're going to see, the audience expects it and gets excited by it. But the direction was just so flat in the way that they told this story. And it happens in such an abrupt and almost quote unquote real life way, where the shooting isn't drawn out. It wasn't a big action scene. It wasn't a lot of suspense. It was like the guy goes in, he kills Hitler, and then he departs.
Yeah, it's not Inglourious Bastards. As much as we're doing a revisionist history, it's not doing an Inglourious Bastards thing.
No, it's not. It was definitely revisionist history because that's not how Hitler died.
Right.
And they really didn't try to explain any of that either. It was just this, in this reality, I guess, this dude killed Hitler and then he was off and running. The same was true of this Bigfoot mission. When these government officials show up when he's Sam Elliott. And I by the way, I got to just throw out a shout out to Ron Livingston, who just randomly showed up in this film.
I know, right?
These government officials, they approach him and it should feel like this major turning point in the story. But it, again, it plays oddly flat. It's almost procedural. Now we're getting on to the Bigfoot part of the story.
Like, why? We barely talked about.
Well, because it was really interesting.
Yeah.
The way that they rendered it was like nothing we had ever seen before, the Bigfoot. Yeah. It was almost like an alien. It didn't look big and lumbering like you expect. It was almost childlike and sort of weirdly sympathetic.
It reminded me of the trolls in Willow.
Yeah. Wow.
Just kind of like these hairy dudes kind of running around like in a sort of monkey suit.
And it was a lot of like, it was so solemn the way he put it down and such. It was there was a great deal of gravitas in that film.
Right.
And I just don't know why it exists. Yeah. But anyway, this isn't a total wash for me.
Yeah.
There are pieces here that really did work. His relationship with his brother, pretty much anything that was more Sam Elliott playing a normal character that was outside of these heroic acts that he pulls off worked pretty well for me. His relationship with his brother, played by a comedian of some renown named Larry Miller, who I haven't seen in forever.
Yeah, I know.
It's warm and grounded. It's genuinely affecting. There's a version of this movie that fully leans into that kind of intimacy. And it becomes like a quieter character study about regret and aging and this lost love.
Yeah.
And I think that version, without the title and without the heroism aspects of it, could have been something special.
Well, that's kind of what I'm interested in, is if this film had gone a different direction with its title and done something less exploitative, a little bit more conventional, and had been the same film, I wonder if your experience with it might have been different, because maybe instead of so much of the focus being on the parentheses around this story, you might have focused a little bit more on that middle part where we have this aging hero who is spending his life dealing with regret and settle with himself, whether the actions he took as a young man mattered. I think a lot of what this movie is interested in, and you talked about the stone in the shoe, is I think him struggling with the idea that he killed Hitler and the disease of the Nazi ideals still spread anyway. And so he kind of killed Hitler for nothing, because killing Hitler didn't stop anything from taking place. Whereas killing the Bigfoot literally stopped a disease and saved millions. And that's what I think he's struggling with through a lot of the movie, is the why of all of it.
Yeah, but the film is constantly caught between its pulp DNA and this desire to be this meditative character piece, Mike. That tension shows up all over the place, too. There's this score by Joe Kramer, and it's mostly very understated, but the film has these needle drops in it, which include Use Me by Bill Withers and Lonely as the Night by Billy Squier. And the Withers track, which is, by the way, a total classic that my kid sings the shit out of at shows with his band, by the way. That song is absolutely fantastic. It's set to this random fist fight at the start of the film. And it's kind of campy and kind of sort of fun, as if they were trying to get a Tarantino-esque kind of cool going. But it never quite lands. And instead, it's just another highlight of that tonal confusion. Is it pulp? Is it elegy? I don't think this film ever decides. But I will say this, Mike. Visually, this movie often looks fantastic. Cinematographer Alex Vendler delivers some genuinely striking imagery. It's clean, it's composed, it's surprisingly polished. And I say all this because Vendler isn't some like veteran that's propping up a first-time director, because the director of this film, Robert Krzyzkowski, is, in fact, this was his first film. So this Vendler is also working with a pretty short resume behind him. So you're seeing something that is not a seasoned hand elevating a newcomer, but rather you're seeing two relatively unproven collaborators, and they're occasionally punching above their weight, both of them. But I think what makes the film even more of an anomaly is what else you have behind the camera. And there's two names that just jumped at me off the production credits. John Sayles, the writer-director, and Douglas Trumbull, who is a legendary figure in the visual effects field, which I guess Krzyzkowski kind of comes from. I guess that's sort of his background, is visual effects, puppetry, this kind of stuff. I think that Sayles and Trumbull and their involvement helps explain how a project this strange manages to attract talent like Sam Elliott and the money to make this film. I mean, it gives the film like a kind of institutional legitimacy that maybe the creative execution or the resume wouldn't get.
And that's why I gave it to you, because at the end of the day, this is film jitsu. And so there's always the like, how is this a film jitsu movie? And for me, I think there's enough distance between the title and the expectation and the anticipation and the film and its execution that it makes for an interesting conversation. Because I think by turns, it's kind of a good movie and a bad movie, or a bad movie that turned out to be a good movie. And I don't know which one is which. And that's what kind of makes it compelling. I feel like this is a divisive kind of film that I imagine if we were to talk to a lot of other people about it, you might have some that are really in and really out on it. I would be interested to find that there was anybody that was kind of riding the fence on it, because it's almost asking you to plant a flag on one side or the other with it.
I'm definitely down the middle. So not to be contrarian, I know you're going to say that, but the proof is this movie reminded me so much of another movie that came out very recently and that I saw very recently, almost days before I watched this one. And I couldn't believe the coincidence of watching these two films together that closely. And it is The Life of Chuck.
Oh, okay.
That Mike Flanagan, Stephen King adaptation. And that film suffers from a remarkably similar problem. It's got a fascinating tonal collision between the fantastical and the deeply personal. And like The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot, it wants to operate simultaneously as a metaphor, a character study, and like this mythic fable. And like this film, it constantly reaches for like an emotional transcendence through like symbolism rather than through any kind of concrete dramatic resolution. So the difference is that the life of Chuck reaches way higher before its inevitable collapse in the third act, really in the last 15 or so minutes. It gets so good that I thought I was going to give the film a 5-star rating.
Wow.
And then it dies a horrible death. That I find probably something that would be enormously divisive. But when I watched The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot, I can't believe we have to keep saying that title. It never reached those same heights.
Right.
It exists kind of like in this constantly middling register from beginning to end. And I think its ambitions are really admirable and the ideas are super interesting. And like I said, Sam Elliott is phenomenal in it. Really. I mean, it was a real pleasure to watch him as the central character of this film.
Yep.
But it's a pretty limp emotional resolution. And at the end, I just kind of shrugged and went, that was really pointless.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like that was the point, was that it was pointless, which is even more disappointing. So I had, in the span of a week or so, these two movies that were just so weirdly similar running on my TV, and then me just kind of shrugging at the end, but with Life of Chuck being more solidly disappointed. It's not that The Man Who Killed Bigfoot and then, nope, see, I knew I was going to do it. I was going to reverse it sooner or later.
We made it so far.
I know. I knew it, and I didn't want to say the title because I knew I was going to do it. The Man Who Killed Hitler. It's not that The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot is a bad movie. It's not that it's unsuccessful in every way. There are strong performances. There are interesting ideas. There are moments of real visual and emotional resonance, but it never quite comes together. And when you look at the context, right? First-time director in Robert Krzyzkowski, he's working with a similarly emerging cinematographer supported by these experienced producers. You start to see the shape of it, and this feels like a filmmaker with a strong eye for detail and a clear sense of theme and a genuine ambition, but not yet the experience to unify it all. So it's a fascinating near miss. A movie full of compelling pieces that never quite lock into place. And maybe that, Mike, is why it actually is really worth talking about.
Well, I'm glad that we took the time, and it would be interesting to hear what our audience thinks about the movie. Were folks disappointed that it was not the exploitation film that the title promises, or were they excited that they ended up with something a little bit different? It sounds like the answer for you was yes to both. And I would be interested to hear what our listeners had to say about it. So please, by all means, drop us a line, mike@filmjitsu.net, jay@filmjitsu.net, and let us know how you feel about, deep breath, The Man Who Killed Hitler and then
the Bigfoot.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Jay, the extremely specific title of The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot got me thinking about microgenres. In this case, it turned out to be a melancholy, weathered old gunman has one final mission to complete. I think. And sure, our main review has 100% more Bigfoot than something like Unforgiven or The Shootist, but I think the concept still applies. And you know that microgenres are a favorite subject of mine. I often talk about how I hate movies where somebody learns to be a better dad through the healing power of magic. I also kind of hate talking animal movies, so thanks a shitload for 9 Lives, by the way. What was your approach here?
We are keeping track on the website of how many movies we talk about on the show.
Right.
And by doing a category thing like this, we're going to scream over 1,000 movies.
Wow, that's
I
great.
think we're right now at around 987, I think was the last count I saw. But this episode alone is probably going to have like 30 movies talked about.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting.
Do you want me to rattle it off real quick? Let's try and do that. You want me to just start screaming out random movie titles till we get there?
Just right away.
Yeah, why not?
Keep going.
I thought we should start off with your number 5.
So my number 5 here is forced young adult franchise starters. So I guess that's hyper micro, but
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
that's what I thought. It's less a genre than like a full blown Hollywood epidemic that infected the late 2000s and the early 2010s, right? Like once Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Twilight, and especially the Hunger Games became like these gigantic cultural and financial phenomena, every studio in Hollywood became convinced that they were one teen prophecy away from like infinite money.
Right.
So every vaguely successful young adult novel immediately became like a planned franchise.
The Maze Runner, I'm looking at you. Is that that kind of thing?
Right,
okay.
Exactly. Divergent, starring Shailene Woodley and Theo James, where the society was divided into personality factions because apparently the future was designed by like online quizzes or whatever. You did have The Maze Runner. I love that you mentioned it. That was directed by Wes Bell, where the teenagers are trapped inside a giant murder hedge maze.
Oh, the old murder hedge. That'll get you every time.
And then there were just these outright franchise casualties that happened. The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, Beautiful Creatures, I Am Number 4.
Wow.
And the Paolini guys, Aragon, which somehow involved dragons, Jeremy Irons, and John Malkovich, and still failed to launch. So even the successful ones ran on diminishing returns. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, was positioned as like the next great fantasy saga.
Yeah, that went nowhere.
Something like, it was like 700 million worldwide for Disney. But the audience enthusiasm died through the Prince Caspian or whatever.
Yep, that's what a Prince Caspian will get you. That's it.
Every time. It's pirate stuff, man. It always kills, except for that Caribbean one. That was the only one that ever... But the Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn, Treader ultimately just let the thing drift into the void.
Yeah.
What really defines this microgenre is transparently manufactured franchise hopefuls filled with chosen ones and lore dumps and sequel bait and grim color grading and speeches about the system.
Man, you really laid out the case there for it. There is zero room for argument on that. That you are dead ass right. Wow.
Awesome.
You know, we've learned here that if you have a maze and it's a murder maze, you shouldn't go in it. And if you've got a Caspian, you don't want him involved because we've pretty clearly established both of those things are trouble.
I don't remember any ruins in Narnia.
I wonder who lived here.
I think we did.
I think it's time we found out what went on here.
Who are you?
I am Prince Caspian.
My number 5 might be a little bit more conventional, but it feels like it has to be on here for me because I really did try to think of like, what are those microgenres I really don't like? I wanted to really kind of come up with these right off the top of my head. And so my number 5 is the by the book white cop has to work with a fast talking black guy and they hate each other, but by the end they come to respect each other and form an unlikely friendship.
I like those movies.
No, 48 Hours is the high water mark, right? For that. But for me, everything else is the low water mark for that.
Oh, really?
I cannot stand these. No, that's not the same thing.
Oh.
I mean, those guys are different races, but they're cops. Like Danny Glover's not like a fast talking street guy. You know what I mean? Like,
I see
that's what I'm talking about.
I see what you mean.
I mean,
okay.
like Steve Zahn and Martin Lawrence in National Security. I Spy.
Okay.
with Owen Wilson and Eddie Murphy. I'm looking at you. Showtime with Eddie Murphy and Robert De Niro. I'm also
Eddie
looking
Murphy
at you.
is like half his career.
Yeah, pretty
He's
much.
just playing
Yep. These movies for me are just an opportunity to cart out every lame stereotype that you can think of under the guise of comedy. I find it lazy and uninteresting.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that culture clash movies don't work. For example, White Men Can't Jump. I like that
Good
just
flick.
fine. All of the
Yeah.
work that Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder did together using those
Silver
right,
Streak.
exactly.
Yeah.
See no evil, hear no evil. So it can work. There's something specifically about the cop movie where I feel like I've seen it once and I've seen it a million times. So the contentious white cop, black guy micro genre is my number 5.
That is very specific, but I will say there's a movie without a cop, but it's a similar dynamic that you didn't like that I love, Trading Places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
and again, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I know. Eddie Murphy's all over. I mean, really, honestly, you could also pin this on Shrek if you wanted to. Is like Shrek is this by the book ogre, and then Donkey is this fast talking Eddie Murphy donkey.
Oh my God!
I know it's everywhere. It kind of is an Eddie Murphy problem, but it exists in other places, and sometimes they subvert it a little bit in a way that makes it interesting. Like, for example, Bad Boys. The first Bad Boys movie where you have Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. So you don't have like the black cop, white cop thing, but you have one who's very like suave and cool. And then you have the other guy who's like the really anxious, excitable family guy. Yeah. And that works. There's so you can do this kind of thing, right? I mean, like I said, Riggs and Murtaugh, they're a black guy and a white guy, but that's not, we don't have like a wisecracking street thing. So you can certainly make these movies and they work, but
Okay. All right. Well, my number 4, I think, is a much more obvious, actually, it's probably the most obvious on my list. And that would be skit to film comedies.
Oh,
so
okay.
The microgenre that absolutely exploded in the late 90s and early 2000s. And honestly, I think it may have permanently damaged studio comedy for a while. Once Wayne's World became a legitimate hit, Hollywood suddenly convinced itself that literally any sketch character could support a feature-length movie. And to be fair, Wayne's World actually works because Mike Myers and Dana Carvey built an actual story around the characters instead of just repeating the joke for 90 minutes. Unfortunately, the industry mostly learned the wrong lesson from that success. So we ended up with shit like Coneheads, It's Pat, Superstar, The Ladies' Man, A Night in the Roxbury. I could go on and on. Yes, it's mostly Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
But we did see performers and writers from other skit shows like The State and In Living Color make the jump into film, and they brought that same sketch comedy sensibility with them. Sometimes that produced interesting cult comedies. I know a lot of people love David Wayne's Wet Hot American Summer. I don't hate it, but I've always been a little lukewarm on it because it feels less like a movie and more like a collection of intentionally awkward sketch bits that are stitched together with like summer camp connective tissue.
I love that movie with 0 reservations. I'm flying to Chicago to see that movie in the Music Box Theater. That's how much I love that movie. But I get what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying for sure.
It's a better example of the skit mentality that wasn't directly adapted from characters.
Right.
But Scary Movie came from this too.
I was going to say, Scary Movie is a great example of what you're talking about. It's like the Wayans brothers who came from a sketch background and managed to use that sensibility and turned it into an enormously successful franchise.
Oh God.
No, I know.
Enormously successful. Just
say what you want.
Absolutely terrible.
It's an enormously successful franchise. That first one's not that bad, man.
Oh, it is terrible. The third one was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because the Zuckers came in.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, wait, this is like Airplane.
Yeah,
so
right.
I actually love the third one. I didn't laugh all that much at the first or the second one. It is what it is. Everybody's got their brand of, whiskey. Yeah. It just wasn't mine.
That's a really solid pick. Also, I'm glad that you were able to rattle off some more movies, moving us closer to 1,000.
Yeah, man.
And also, it's inevitable that at some point we're going to visit at least one of those titles for sure.
I know.
It's got to happen. Sure. It's got to happen. My number 4, I feel like this is one of those ones where you're just going to kind of laugh at me because of like the way my brain works. But my number 4 is the hard luck horse melodrama. Jay.
Orphan horse?
Yeah, orphan horse. Yeah. I don't know why, but I absolutely could not give a shit about horse movies. Not even for a minute. Like Black Beauty, I don't care. War Horse is an Oscar-nominated Spielberg film that you would have to Clockwork Orange me to ever sit down and watch, right? Like Seabiscuit, I would prefer not to see Biscuit. I'm not interested. I don't even know where this comes from because I think horses are absolutely magnificent creatures, but there's just something about like a hard luck horse melodrama that I can't muster an ounce of interest for. Like,
for sure.
Like, oh no, it was hard living out there for that horse. And then along comes some kind-hearted trainer or a little girl or whatever the fuck, and it's all going to be okay. And truthfully, I would rather get trampled by a horse than have to sit through it. And so I don't know what's wrong with me. That is very specific, but the hard luck horse melodrama is my number 4 microgenre.
That's a terrific choice. It does seem as though you really have something against Eddie Murphy because he did voice Donkey.
Yeah. Well,
a bit of a hard luck horse in a way. So I think you might have something against Murphy that didn't come out during our Eddie Murphy show.
Could be. That might be.
We might need to figure that out. We might need to spend time with that or some professional.
If you are listening and you're Eddie Murphy and you'd like to talk about it, drop me a line at mike@filmjitsu.net.
My number 3, this is my purest. I cannot believe this became an actual horror movie subgenre, microgenre. And at some point, horror movies sort of collectively decided that literally any inanimate object could become a murderer. Cars, trucks, laundry machines, tires, beds, elevators, houses, vending machines, industrial equipment.
Slacks. There's a movie called Slacks.
Slacks. Basically, if it existed physically in the world, some filmmaker eventually decided it would kill people. I specifically thought of Amityville 3D. Thanks, Mike.
Yep, you're
the
welcome.
House that eventually stops feeling haunted and starts behaving like an actual slasher villain. It's less evil presence and more this building has selected you for death personally. And honestly, Stephen King may be the patron saint of this entire microgenre. You've got Christine, directed by John Carpenter, where a killer Plymouth Fury murders people out of jealousy.
Yep.
Maximum Overdrive, which was directed by King himself, during which I guess he admitted was a cocaine-fueled period of his life. And that featured homicidal trucks and the vending machine, and the whole thing was set to AC/DC, and it sounded like the loudest panic attack in cinema history. It was absolutely crazy. And then, of course, from King, you've also got
The Mangler.
Right. And then you reach peak absurdity with The Mangler, directed by Tobe Hooper, and again, based on a Stephen King story, where Robert Englund battles like a possessed industrial laundry press. So,
there is no podcast that talks about The Mangler as much
as much as we do. Right. I know.
We got to find a way to get it on a t-shirt.
All Mangler all the time. To be fair, I'm not even saying that the concept can't work. I mean, something like Talk to Me actually took the evil object concept and it turned it into a really effective allegory for addiction and peer pressure and the self-destruction.
Sure.
So the issue isn't necessarily the trope itself. It's when horror movies cross the line from frightening into a refrigerator may eat your face. So that should be on our next shirt. A refrigerator may eat your face.
All right. We'll keep an eye on our merch store that doesn't exist yet. Jason, my number 3 is the washed up athlete that has one last chance at glory.
Oh, yeah.
What a waste of fucking time this is. The ending of the movie is spoiled by the sheer fact that the movie exists in the first place. I have no interest in sitting around for 120 minutes to wait for some guy to score the home run or goal or buzzer beater that we all know is coming. You might expect me to enjoy these kind of things because I'm a sports guy, but these movies neutralize the one thing that makes sports exciting, which is the unknown. Live sports are one of the very few things that you can sit down and watch it and not know how it's going to end. You have to wait and see what happens. All the drama and excitement comes in finding out how it's going to unfold. You watch the Super Bowl, you watch the World Series, you watch a boxing match because it's exciting to find out who wins. With these movies, you full ass well know they're going to end with this guy having his moment of glory. So what's the point of taking the ride? I am the rare guy that loves sports, but not sports movies. And I know for some people that is sacrilege, right? The Natural, Bull Durham, Cinderella Man, meh. I don't really give a shit. Maybe the only reason why this didn't make it into my number one spot is this microgenre is also the reason why the film Major League exists. Major League is a hilarious sports comedy whose entire premise is that I'm right. That's it, right? Without it, we never would have had the phrase, mild thing, you make my butt sting. And while that was enough to keep the washed up athlete off of my number one spot, it wasn't enough to keep it off my list. So it's here at number 3.
Jesus. I like him very much. He no help with curveball.
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
Okay, Harris, let's not start a holy war here.
It's funny. I'm the bigger baseball fan. You're the big football fan. I'm a much bigger fan of The Replacements with Keanu Reeves, which again isn't really a drama. It's a comedy, and it's a very funny comedy like Major League. It's the same story, different sport. I like that you like the baseball one and I like the football one. I think that's kind of neat. My number 2 is prestige musical biopics.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you weren't into this. I don't love them either.
I know. They're critically beloved, it seems. But at this point, for me, musical biopics have started feeling less like actual films and more like award season factory products engineered in a lab. Like once Hollywood realized that audiences and the Academy would reward actors for, quote, becoming famous musicians through wigs and makeup and prosthetics and dramatic concert recreations, it seems like the floodgates just opened. You got Bohemian Rhapsody, which was wildly successful, was a little bit criticized, I guess, but it somehow won Rami Malek an Oscar in what looked like weaponized buck teeth.
Right.
But then you've got Walk the Line from James Mangold, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon. You had Ray, which earned Jamie Foxx an Oscar for portraying Ray Charles. Elvis turned Baz Luhrmann loose on the life of Elvis Presley like someone handed a fireworks factory cocaine. and then now the conveyor belt just keeps moving with things like Rocket Man and A Complete Unknown with Timothée Chalamet. And this new Michael film that's out right now, which is, are you kidding me? It doesn't even tackle the real story of his life, but it wants all these accolades.
Right.
So I get that some of these might be considered genuinely good movies. Yeah. The issue is, to me, maybe I'm too cynical, but I just think it's all bullshit. So
yeah, I can't care about them. You have just listed a litany of films that I have never seen. I never saw Bohemian Rhapsody. I never saw Elvis. I never saw Rocket Man because I just kind of can't get myself there to care enough about them because
it's not exciting.
It feels so manufactured to me. I really did kind of hope that Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, would have taken the piss out of all of these forever because I love that movie.
That's actually a really funny movie.
And it didn't. Like, they kept making them anyway after that. I really thought that maybe Dewey Cox had solved this problem, but nope, they just keep churning them out. Well, that's a good pick. I'm glad to hear that it made your list because they don't bother me enough for it to have made a bottom 5, but man, I couldn't give a shit.
Oh, they really do.
Yeah. Well, My number 2 are films that do genuinely bother me. I'm going with the zany body swap comedy where everything goes back to the way it was once we've all learned an important life lesson.
I
no.
like these.
Nope. I'm talking Freaky Friday.
You don't like magic.
The remake of Freaky Friday. The 2 TV movies of Freaky Friday, Freakier Friday, and what I can only assume we will one day receive in the future, Freakiest of Fridays. At the rate we're going, The Fast and the Furious is going to give us 2 Freaky, 2 Friday. It's ridiculous. For some reason, these movies are hyper fixated on boobs. Like when the young kid ends up in the adult body, or when the hot chick like Rachel McAdams ends up Rob Schneider, which now that I say it out loud, Rob Schneider undergoes some bizarre transformation, might be its own microgenre that should have made my list.
It's so true.
But it's just that you know exactly what you're going to get with this kind of movie, almost beat for beat. They try to switch up the ingredients from time to time, but it always just ends up the same recycled jokes. You get the obligatory montage of doing adult shit, like eating as much ice cream as you want or whatever, and looking at yourself in the mirror and where did these boobs come from seems to be a big important thing in these movies. I don't know. I never like them. I just never, and it's the body swap specifically. Like Big is not one of these for me. Like I love Big because
I agree.
There's no swapping going on. He wakes up and he's in an adult body. Okay, fine. But all the mistaken identity and the daughter in the mom's body is talking to the boyfriend for the thing. Just forget it. I don't like him. I don't like him. Stop zany body swapping. I want no part of it. Knock that shit off. It's my number 2. I really don't like these. I really don't.
Mike, do you realize what we're doing here is we're sort of revealing the things that we hate the most to our greatest enemy?
Yes.
And now we'll both be looking for the title of a movie with, let's say, Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage when they swap bodies as father and son.
Right.
That definitely isn't going to end up on your watch list soon.
I want you to know that I recorded a voice memo earlier today where I said, hey, Film Jitsu listeners, just so you know, the entire point of this bottom 5 was to get Jason Santu to reveal 5 movies that he doesn't like so that I can find 5 of these kind of movies for future episodes. And of course, you knew what I was doing and you saw right through it and you're doing the same thing to me. So I assume some sort of music biopic is coming down the pike sooner or later.
Let's hope one of these doesn't come down the pike because my number 1 is the historical / literary mashup exploitation film. It feels like it's scientifically engineered to piss me off.
It really does.
This is where somebody in Hollywood, or I guess in publishing houses too, look at a beloved historical figure or like a literary classic, a fairy tale, childhood icon, and says, okay, but what if this had monsters in it? And at the center of this entire movement is this guy, Seth Grahame-Smith, who wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. The latter becoming a 2012 film directed by Timur Bekmambetov and produced by none other than Tim Burton. Now, I will admit, this category carries a little extra personal irritation for me.
Yeah.
Because Seth Grahame-Smith actually went to Emerson College with me and even worked on one of my student films, Word Box. So there's always been this surreal feeling watching this entire mashup microgenre explode into a legitimate Hollywood trend and thinking to myself, wait, that fucking guy? But this genre has only gotten weirder from his work. You started getting things like Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, where the classic grim fairy tale somehow became a steampunk monster hunting action movie.
That movie sucks so bad. It sucks so bad.
Now, we're in this even weirder time where public domain is starting to happen. So we're getting these beloved childhood characters that have immediately become slasher villains the second the copyrights expire. So
yeah, we talked about the mean one. That's exactly that kind of thing.
The mean one, right? The Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Bambi, The Reckoning, and whatever. horrifying version of a public domain Mickey Mouse is probably being filmed in Romania right now.
That exists. There's also a Popeye one that's real fucking weird.
Yep, exactly.
My grandfather would have an absolute meltdown if he found out about this. My grandfather loved Popeye so much. I might have talked about this before. And he hated Robin Williams Popeye that he refused to watch another Robin Williams performance for the rest of his life. My grandmother would put Mrs. Doubtfire on in the living room to make him leave. that's so I can only imagine what Ralph would have had to say about the Popeye, the murder man or whatever the hell his name is in this thing. Jesus Christ. You're not wrong, man. It's just getting worse.
It really is. It really is.
Well, it brings me to my number one. My number one, Jason, is an unfortunate child learns the value of love and self-worth through their special connection with a wild animal.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Oh, I absolutely cannot with these movies. Dolphin Tale, Fly Away Home, My
Free
Dog
Willy?
Skip, Free Willy. The Horse Whisperer checks a lot of boxes for me on this one.
That's for you. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Making notes.
This bottom five turned out to lead to a bit of self-discovery for me because I realized that as much as I love animals, and I really do, I don't really have any use for animals in movies. The Hard Luck horse movie is a whole separate thing for me here. But I just don't understand what this is all about because I genuinely love animals. But when some kid has to get over his parents' divorce by learning how to play chess from a giraffe that he's got to release into the wild in a little bit or whatever the fuck. I don't want any part of it. These movies make my eyes roll out of my head and all the way down the sidewalk.
Interesting.
The Whale Rider, just that kind of thing. I get it. But
it's interesting. There's a movie that I absolutely loved. One of the only movies I've given 5 stars in probably in the last 5 years, which is A Monster Calls. By J.A. Bayona.
Yeah, you've mentioned it a couple of times.
And it's, I guess, it's very similar to this genre, but there's a tree. Okay. So is it it's a tree monster?
No, that's
Is that
fine.
okay?
Yep, that's totally fine.
All right,
that's totally fine.
As long as it's not a horse.
I can't stand them. The only way that you can get over your rough upbringing is if you befriend a flock of geese. And I don't want to watch that.
What if the kid is Clint Eastwood and it's Any Which Way But Loose?
Nope. I don't want it.
Got it.
Yeah. I will say the more serious it gets, the less I like it. The more it's
Orphan Horse.
Right. Yeah. Orphan Horse. I don't want to watch Orphan Horse.
The title is actually both of those things together.
Yep. Orphan Horse.
So Orphan Horse really is the next movie that you're going to watch. I'm going to have to scrap all of my plans.
It turns
out I had for the end of the show. And now you're watching Orphan Horse.
It's 3 things I don't like. It's 3. It's a goddamn horse movie. It's like a child learns some life lesson through her special connection with this horse, and it's John Voight. Fuck that.
Mike, it's that time of our show where you and I have to compete. We have to do battle. It's Dueling Double Bills. This is when we randomly generate a few titles from my steampunk machine over here. We get those titles, we pair them with whatever comes to mind, and then argue about who has the better double bills that we would want to watch, double features.
The random movie generator, of course, is going to do that. So why don't you plug it in and turn the gears and pull all the levers, get it going.
Oh God, it's so hot. It's always so hot. Here it is. All right, I'm going to crank this. All right, there it is. And then, I keep yanking. That's what she said. All right, so here we go. And I think finally it's coming up with its first one right now. And it's a movie we love. This is a neat, cool pick. And it goes well with the man who killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot. It's Bubba Hotep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Slightly revisionist history. Don Coscarelli's film. This is the guy that did Phantasm, right? And the Beastmaster. I like Don Coscarelli's stuff. I think he's pretty offbeat.
Yep.
This is my favorite film by him, although I am
Wow.
a huge Mark Singer fan.
Okay.
So there is that. Well, it was until I met him and he was kind of an asshole. But this flick might be my favorite Bruce Campbell role.
Okay. I mean,
Where
it's the most Bruce Campbell, possibly.
Yeah. Let's get this going here. And let's see. And the next one is motherfucker. Ugh. Abraham Lincoln Vampire
Oh, no,
Hunter.
it didn't?
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
It's like it heard me talking about it and it made it happen.
Yep.
God damn it. Well, that's just payment from Seth Grahame-Smith. Somewhere his ears are ringing, and right now I'm crying in my Cheerios. So Bubba Hotep and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter are our two movies for this evening. Okay, I guess that's it.
He said enthusiastically.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I love my first one.
Okay.
I am middling. It's not as bad as all that. My second one. I actually would check it out because I kind of programmed it for me.
Okay.
So yeah. So which one do you want to go with first? You want to reveal your?
We'll start with Bubba Hotep because that's the one that went first.
For Bubba Hotep, I went with Stephen Sommers' The Mummy.
Okay.
So that great flick with Brendan Fraser. He plays like this kind of, swaggering hero with a lot of machismo and stuff like that. Bruce Campbell he has that kind of same swagger, and not as much in this movie because he's old, right?
Sure.
Like he's an older Elvis. Of course, they both have a mummy in it. The Mummy and Bubba Hotep is like a soul sucking. He goes into like nursing homes and sucks the souls out of people. He's wearing cowboy boots, I think. And then the one in The Mummy is Arnold Vosloo doing Arnold Vosloo, which is kind of magnetic and amazing.
Okay.
So I think those are a really fun mummy pairing, and they're both comedies. They're both kind of action and offbeat.
Yep.
And they got a good sense of humor.
Yep.
So I think they match pretty well.
I like it. I think I like the one I'm going to give you a little bit better because they're kind of, your pick and my pick are a little bit like maybe two sides of the same coin. We went with a similar thing. See, what I responded to with Bubba Hotep is I didn't exactly want to do like another mummy situation exactly. And the Mummy is a very like big budget, well-produced, like Hollywood film. I wanted to take the same idea you're toying with, but kind of be a little bit more on the level of Bubba Hotep. What would you think about Bubba Hotep?
Monster Squad?
No. Tremors. 1990s Tremors. It's got that Western thing, right? Fred Ward in his cowboy boots. It's a monster movie. It's a little bit low budget, a little bit kind of B movie. I think Bubba Hotep and Tremors sounds like such a fun night. It's kind of what I think you were trying to accomplish with The Mummy, but I think it's like they pair better.
But there's more thematic connective tissue between The Mummy and Bubba Hotep. Like if you're into mummy movies and stuff, you kind of get them both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know. This is a fundamental disagreement you and I come across a lot is like you really like the one-to-one, and I like the flavor a little bit more. I like, a little bit more variety is the spice of life, but I think I'm trying to accomplish the same thing you were talking about.
There is variety between those two films because you have that lower budget, smaller film that's quieter, but still funny and offbeat and whatever. And then you've got offbeat sensibilities on a big budget scale with crazy special effects. And they're very different movies, but they have that thematic tissue between the two of them. So that could be a draw. I don't know.
Well, let's leave it on for now and let's go to the other one.
The next one that I struggled with, and I'm very honest about this, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which is a movie that I have no interest in. I paired up with a movie that I absolutely love, Fright Night.
Okay. All right.
So like take two vampire movies of very different flavors. Again, tongue in cheek, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter has a tongue kind of planted in Fang, I guess. It's actually takes it remarkably seriously.
Yeah, it does.
From what I remember of it. which that doesn't work well in my favor necessarily. It's almost the problem with the movie that we watched this week. Because I'm not going to say the title again. I'm sorry, but like, it's almost the same problem because it takes it so earnestly that you're like, come the fuck on.
Right.
This is a goddamn goof.
Yep.
Where, so I'm not even going to try to justify it. I love Fright Night.
Sure.
They're both vampire movies.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yep.
What do you got?
I decided to also make fun of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and how sincere it wanted to be, but I decided to do it with a little bit more of a middle finger attitude. I think it would be hilarious to pair Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter with Steven Spielberg's 2012 Lincoln. With Daniel Day-Lewis as Lincoln.
I think the same.
I think that's the move. Is like you have this.
Like, who's going to go see it?
You have this stupid. I kind of think that like
this is always your argument, right? Like when I do this exact thing, because I've done it on so many of our shows, and that's why I didn't pick Lincoln, because I was like, nobody's going to go see that.
No, and that's exactly it. Is I don't think anybody's going to like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is so stupid that I was like, I actually don't care if anybody goes, like, I want to embarrass the movie by putting it on the same marquee as Daniel Day-Lewis as fucking Abraham Lincoln and be like, okay, here's an Abraham Lincoln movie. And here we have Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which is like, kind of go fuck yourself. Right. So yeah, this is my kind of throwaway vote. Like this is my protest vote.
Yeah, this is definitely your protest vote.
Right.
You know what? I'm giving it to you anyway.
Okay.
Fright Night is such a cop-out pick. It's just another vampire movie that I happen to like.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know how well they would have worked together. I don't think they would have because of the earnestness. If Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was a movie that matched its title more, I think it and Fright Night would have been a great pairing.
Sure.
But it's not. If you were perfectly honest about what would go better with this movie, it's John Carpenter's Vampires.
Yeah.
Two shitty vampire movies. Just slap them together and fuck everybody that's in the audience.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know what? I'm going to give you the point for Bubba Hotep and the Mummy. It's a great pairing, no doubt about it. I think we're going to split this one then.
We'll split this one.
In the interest of solidarity.
Yeah, and probably a way to bribe me from giving you Orphan Horse. Mike, on our next episode, we once again travel back to 1984 because apparently all we can do on this show is either films from 1997 or ones from 84.
All right.
This time you'll be entering a world of silk sheets, glowing sunsets, soft focus photography, and a movie so aggressively sensual it feels less like a film and more like a template for future late night Skinamax fare.
Okay.
In this movie, an aristocratic young woman embarks on an international sexual odyssey in search of the perfect lover. This is a bit of poetic payback for Blame It on Rio.
Okay.
Your next assignment is 84's Bolero.
Oh, boy.
The film, written and directed by John Derek and starring his wife, Bo Derek, of course. Because this guy's late career artistic philosophy became, what if my wife slowly walked toward the camera for 2 uninterrupted hours?
This is one of the big dogs that was left in the kennel. Like, there are still some kind of like God tier level bad movies that we haven't done before. And this is one of them. And you got to it first. It's always this kind of game of chicken we're playing about who's going to be the first one. And you got to Bolero before I did. Good Lord.
And because one dangerously self-important erotic disaster deserves another, we will be counting down our bottom 5 pretentious sleaze films.
Oh, okay.
Movies that apparently mistake nudity for profundity and soft lighting for actual filmmaking.
Okay. All right.
So prepare yourself, Mike. Next episode, We're entering the Vaseline-covered lens danger zone.
It's getting spicy up here in the film jitsu world.
Well, hopefully the audience will come back when you offer us your thoughts on 1984's Bolero. But until then, we've been your hosts. I am Jay.
And I'm slightly aroused.
He's Mike. And we'll see you next time.
Stalno mislim na te, hoću znat sve kate, vježbat ću sate i sate. Karate, vježbat ću dok zadnji mi kjaj izostane izađe.
From the director of Reagan.
Why? Why would that be the case? Good Lord, orphan horse.
Oh man, I've seen your future and it looks a lot like an orphan horse.
You did say horse, right? It's orphan horse?
Yeah, not orphan horse.
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 Okay. All right.